सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. We have completed in 6th chapter up to sloka number 8. We will just do the recap of 8th sloka and go forward. Jnana vijnana trupta atma kotastha vijatendriyaha samaloshtasma kanchanaha yogi yukta iti vutyate. Here Paramatma has specified Jnanam and Vijnanam. Jnanam means initially the sadhaka thinks that I have the body, I am this body mind sense complex, and I have Chaitanyam in it, the consciousness in this body mind sense complex. That was the initial understanding of every sadhaka. Now later, when he is exposed to Atma Vidya, he comes to know, I am not the body mind sense complex. On the contrary, I am the Chaitanyam. And I have this incidental body, mind sense complex. And in this body mind sense complex, the consciousness reflects and it becomes sentient. So that is the modified understanding. Once a sadhaka exposes himself for a long sravanam. Jnana vijnana truptatma. So being content with jnanam and vijnanam. So once you understand the Atma Vidya, earlier the focus is on the body mind sense complex. Now the paradigm shift has taken place. He shifts his focus onto Atma. So he is not troubled by the local difficulties, local pains, and the pleasure will not make him, too elated. Like that, he is maintaining the balance. Now, people may think that why should we change? Why should there be a paradigm shift? Why should we need to know about the Atma? Everything is going well with my body, mind, sense complex. I am happy as it is. Why should I undergo all this, Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam? As it is, I am happy. So where is the need for me to undergo all this? Shastra says don't learn. Shastra will not insist. Shastra will say all the best. Because when you say you are the body, mind, sense complex, you are bound to have three kinds of fears. One is the fear of death, the fear of old age, the fear of ill health. So all the three fears will constantly chase you and keep you uncomfortable, keep you in a position that you do not have the security. You do not, you are not a permanent person. You don't have the peace, happiness and security. So if you realize this, the samsaram is a dukkhalayam, then to evade this and live happily thereafter, you have to necessarily undergo the Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. You have to expose yourself to Shastra by an able and competent Acharya. So once you are exposed to the Shastra by an able and competent Acharya, then you get to know what is the real Swarupam. Once the Swarupa is very much clear, then you have the advantage of shaking off all the difficulties in this Vyavaharam. Vijitendriyaha. Vijitendriyaha means one who won the Indriyas, one who won the sense organs. Indriyas here is not only the sense organs, but the body, mind, sense complex. That means Jnana Vijnana Truptatma. By the Jnanam and Vijnanam, he feels contentment. So he is happy with the things, he is happy without the things. Kutastaha. Kutastaha means whatever happens in the day-to-day life, he is not agitated. This is another kind of difficulty for an Ajnani. The slightest disappointment, creates sleepless nights. So he will have a lot of trouble if the things are not in his favor. The fear of future will also, cause a kind of insecurity in everybody. So this way, the Kutastaha means one who is equipped with the Jnanam and Vijnanam, he is not worried about the future, because the future is given by Ishvara. So he will receive it as Ishvara Prasadam. Not only that, he is, into Atma, he is living in the reality that he is Atma. So for Atma, there is no future, there is no present, there is no past, because Atma is never born. So that way, he is totally free from the local problems. The local problems, like physical problems, will be there. Physical problems will not disappear. But the mental problems which are associated with physical problem, they will not be there. Earlier, he was blowing the physical problems and making it worst. The pain is very little, but he makes the pain 100-fold by adding the mental pain. Now this mental pain is not there. By Vedanta, he will not get the mental pain. Yukta iti uchyate. Yukta iti uchyate means he will have manastairyam. He will have stamina to sustain any kind of any kind of difficulty, any kind of the pressures, any kind of oddities in this world. Yukta iti uchyate means he will have the mental stamina, mental stability to face any kind of difficulty. So such a person is called yogi. So how will be his outlook? What will be his attitude in this world? Samalostasma kanchana. So he looks at three things equally. Losta means clay, asma means rock, kanchana means gold. Asma and losta, they are valueless, whereas kanchanam is the most precious thing. So he takes everything in his stride. He doesn't worry that, a lot of property should come, then he should get a lot of status and people should, throng around him. This kind of, fancies he is free from. So agate swagatam kuryat gachantam na nivarayet. So he doesn't depend on anybody. He is totally free. Totally free means mentally free. So the local problems will not shake him. Sarvatra samadarsanaha. He will have samadarsanam in everything. Samadarsanam in losta, asman, kanchanaha. So this is the advantage. In the 5th chapter also, we had a similar slokam. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunicheva Swapakecha Panditas Samadarsanaha. This is the advantage of the Shastram. When you are exposed to Atma Vidya, you see that everything is Atma and Atma alone. Atma and Atma alone is pervading all this. So there is no difference between, a Losta and Kanchana. There is no difference between a clay and gold, because everything is Atma. So there is no craving for money, no craving for fame, no craving for people around. So he will be totally free from all these fancies. So we'll proceed to sloka number 9. Suhrud mitraryudasina madhyastadveshya bandhushu sadhushvacha papeshu samabuddhir visishyate. Paramatma is explaining the mental state of a jnani, a mental state of an arudaha, one who has attained that state of Atmanishta. Paramatma is giving variety of people, and these variety of people appear same for a jnani. Samabuddhir visishyate. With the same buddhi, this jnani will behave. Jnani will not distinguish he is a Shatru, is a Mitra, like that. He will not have any kind of distinction, any kind of dvesham on anybody, any kind of ragam on anybody. So who are all the people? Hitakari. Hitakari means one who takes care of the society, one who wants the welfare of the society, one who wants hitam of everyone. Mitraha, a friend. Shatruhu, an enemy. Udasinaha. Udasinaha means a mediocre, one who is a tatastavadi, one who will not take sides. Madhyastaha. Madhyastaha means mediator. Dveshyaha. Dveshyaha means one who is one who creates a hatred in people, one who cannot be loved, one who is hated by people. Bandhuhu, a relation. Sadhuhu is a Satpurusha, a dharmic person. Papeshu. Papeshu means a sinner. Samabuddhir visishyate. Samabuddhir visishyate means so this jnani will have equanimity and equality in all these varieties of people. So we will try to analyze each one here. Suhrud. Suhrud means he is a good Samaritan. So he is a good person. Out and out he is a good person. He thinks of good. He thinks of hitam of everyone. He wants the welfare of everyone. Swabhavena hita ashamsi. His nature is hitam for everyone. So he is there to help everyone, and that is his swabhavam. He helps people unconditionally without any selfish motive, altruistic person. So such a person is called Suhrud. So without any motive, without any condition, without any selfish motive, he helps people, he helps the society. Such a person is called Suhrud. Mitram. Mitra means he is also a good person, but not by swabhava. That is not his nature. So he helps provided he is a friend of you. Sneha bhavena hita ashamsi. Because he is a friend, he thinks of your welfare. My friend should flourish. My friend should not be troubled. Like that, no, he is having some, favor towards you. He feels that you have to flourish in the life. You have to come up in the life because you are his friend. Sneha bhavena hita ashamsi. Ari means Shatru, an enemy. Ari udasinaha. Paroksha apriyaha. Paroksha apriyaha means whenever he is not there, then he will be an enemy to you. In front of you, he will be okay, he will not show any kind of enmity. But in your absence, he will behave like an enemy. Udasinaha. Udasinaha means he will not do good, nor he will do any harm to you. So, he is up to himself. He is to himself only. So, he will avoid issues. He will not, poke up his nose into issues and then try to solve or try to help and all that. He is up to himself. So, such a person is called Udasinaha. Madhyastaha. Vividha manayoho hita ashamsi. This Madhyastha is a mediator. Madhyastha is a mediator. So, what is this Madhyastha's behavior? Madhyastha wants good of all. So, he tries to pacify people and try to establish peace and happiness. Dveshyaha. Dvesha yogyaha. So, his behavior is like, you hate him. He will, create a situation by which people hate him. Arihi paroksha apriyaha. Dveshyaha pratyaksha apriyaha. So, Ari means indirectly he is a Shatru. Dveshya is directly a Shatru. Bandhuhu. Bandhuhu means a relative. So, by your blood relation, you have many people in your family, in your relationship. So, all those people will come under Bandhuhu. Sadhuhu. Sadhuhu means a dharmika person, one who believes in dharma, dharmic life. So, such a person is called Sadhuhu. Sadhu means he is always living up to the values and he lives the dharmic life. Sukhrut is the one who helps when the people are needy, when the people need his help. But Sadhu, by behavior, he wants to do something good to the society. So this is the description. The last one is Papeshu, opposite to Sadhu, adharmic person, one who resorts to all kind of adharmic practices, and his only motive is to earn money and cheat people and all that. So samabuddhir visishyate. So a jnani, he will have equality and equanimity on all these kinds of people. Now sloka number 10 to 15, Paramatma is explaining antaranga sadhanani, the internal practices or the special practices for meditation. What are the various precautions one must observe when one is doing the dhyanam? So, the various do's and don'ts are mentioned from sloka number 10 to 15 for the purpose of meditation. These are called antaranga sadhanani. or Vishesha Sadhanani. So they are specific to the meditation. There are various aspects in this particular topic. The aspects are, the first one is Desham. Desham means the place of meditation. What should be the place of meditation? Paramatma is suggesting, let the place be secluded, where the disturbances are not there to the extent possible. Wherever you go, there will be either loudspeakers or dogs, something or other will be there to disturb you. But to the extent possible, try to get far off from the maddening crowd. Therefore, the seclusion is a point number one. Seclusion means you have to choose a place for meditation where there is no external disturbances. The sounds, the noises of the traffic. So, this must not create a problem for your meditation. One place is solitary place where you can sit alone and do meditation peacefully without the disturbance of other family members or other people around you. The place must be free from the speakers, dogs, and the traffic sounds. And you should do it alone. You should not do it with all people around you. So this is what we call ekaki. Ekaki means you should do the meditation alone. If you do it with people around you, then it will become a gossip rather than a meditation. Then the place must be spiritually pure. So it should not be just by the side of kitchen, because you get the aroma of the things that are being cooked. So you get diverted. And it should not be in a place where you have all kinds of, the cinema posters are there, then you get diverted. So as far as possible, you should get that, ambience, the spiritual ambience, and try to focus yourself onto God, onto Saguna Iswara. So for that, the altar, the puja place is, the puja gruham is the best place. A separate room for yourself where people will not, barge in and disturb you while you are meditating. You should not have any kind of, disturbing pictures in your room, so that, you can concentrate. On the contrary, you can have your guru's picture, or you can have your favorite god, Ishtadaivam. So like that, you can have your place of meditation spiritually oriented, spiritually purified. Then what is the time of meditation? Generally, in tradition, they say early morning is the ideal time for meditation. Because the advantage is that yesterday's worries have been diluted by sleep. If they are not gone, it has become diluted, because that intensity is no more there. That is why sleep is a very big gift by the Lord. However sorrowful a person may be, a good sleep will certainly reduce the impact of the situation. However sorrowful, you can reduce the intensity by sleep. Therefore, early morning is the best time. That too, Brahmi Muhurtam, they say, between 4 and 5 you can choose to meditate. If you can't get up, you can do it at 6 also. Because that time, the outside sounds will not be there. You are having absolutely, a peaceful atmosphere, so that you can have concentration. That is called Satvika Kalam. Brahma Muhurta. So the best time is the Satvika time. How long you have to do? 20 minutes is more than enough, because the concentration is the most important thing. You have to concentrate, and then that is the thing in the meditation. Saguna Ishvara, you are meditating, so your mind should not go here and there. It should not hover all over the world. So for that, 15 to 20 minutes is ideal. Then comes the asanam. Asanam means how should be your seat. The third step, Paramatma is talking, is asanam. Where should you be seated? Which means you should be seated. That is the first thing you must observe. You cannot do meditation in a standing pose. If you do meditation in a standing pose, what happens? If you get sleep, you will fall down and break the head. Because you may lose balance if you doze off. So it is always advised to do the meditation in a sitting posture. If it is possible, you can sit on floor. If your knees do not support you, do not cooperate with you, then you can also sit on a chair and do meditation. Therefore, the sitting down is the ideal thing. If it is not possible, sit on a chair and do the meditation. Then the posture of the body. What should be your posture? The posture is, you should not keep on moving. You should be stable and motionless, steady. You should be steady and stable. Base portion must be expanded. Like you can have your matam. Matam means with the cross legs you can sit and do the meditation. If it is not possible, whatever is the best posture, you can sit so that you are not disturbed. You have to sit in that particular posture until you finish off your meditation. You should not keep on changing your posture. So Sukhamasanam, whichever posture is comfortable to you, you can choose that. Some people, they do it with Padmasanam. Some people, they do it with Vajrasanam. Some people, they do it, sitting on a chair, hanging the legs down. So like that, whatever is comfortable to you, you can choose, so that, you do not change your posture in the meditation. Only after meditation, you can change the posture. So, Sukhamasanam. So, wherever you are comfortable, wherever you feel ease, wherever you don't feel the difficulty, so such posture you have to choose. Then the pranasamyam. Pranasamyam means breathing. Breathing should be relaxed and even, smooth and even, because breathing and our thoughts are interconnected. So mind and breathing, they are interconnected. Like, you pull a charpai. If you hold one leg and try to pull it, then the entire charpai is pulled. In the same way, the mind and breathing, they are interconnected. If breathing is controlled, mind is controlled. If mind is controlled, breathing is controlled. So both are interconnected. Sparsan krutva bahirbhakyan chachus chaivantaro bruvaha pranapano samau krutva nasabhyantara charinau. This is what we have learnt in the end of the 5th chapter. So you keep the outside things out. Don't bring it into meditation. Temporarily you give a stay to your fatherhood, motherhood, friendlyhood. All these vashams you can temporarily unfold and stay with concentration. Bahyan sparsan bahihi krutva. Bahyan sparsan bahihi krutva means all outside things, keep it outside. Chachuhu Shaivantare Bruvaha. Concentrate on the Brukuti, central point of your eyebrows. Pranapano Samau Krutva. So you have to equate, you have to make your inhalation and exhalation equal. Nasabhyantara Charinau. So this is about Prana Samyamanam. Then Indriya Nigraham. Indriya Nigraham is the sensory restraint. Indriyas are now very important. Because of Indriyas only, we get diverted. So they are very powerful. That is why the Indriyas must be restrained. You should not keep on, seeing whatever you want and drink whatever you want, eat whatever you want. So there must be a restraint. These Indriyas will bring forth the 5 different worlds before you. Sabda Prapancham, Rupa Prapancham, Rasa Prapancham, Gandha Prapancham, Sparsa Prapancham. Unless you restrain yourself, spiritual upliftment is not possible. So the sensory restrainment is very, very important. Like masala dosa, you keep thinking of dosa at the time of meditation. And then it becomes a dosa dhyanam, then the Ishvara dhyanam. So that way you have to keep everything outside things outside only. Bhakyan sparsan bahihi krutva. Keep everything outside things outside. Mano nigraham, or regulation of the mind. This is another important faculty. So the mind is one which must cooperate. If the mind is not cooperating the meditator, the mind will create a real havoc. It will roam all over the world and it will, spoil the meditation. So you have to temporarily, you have to shun all your, roles and sit in the meditation. I am a businessman, I am a scientist, I am a teacher, I am a professor, then I am a father, I am a mother, I am a son, I am a daughter. All these roles, you keep it away before meditation and sit with a peaceful mind, you and God alone. You and Ishvara, nothing else. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogatshemam vahamyaham. So, the conviction means it is the dhyanam which helps you for your spiritual growth. You must have that conviction. You must have that thorough understanding. So, without thorough understanding, you have to do your meditation. Some people, they do this puja and sandhya vandanam in a rocket speed because it becomes a ritual for them. They do not enjoy. So meditation is a thing which you have to cherish. So don't do it just as a ritual. Enjoy. The 15 to 20 minutes, spend quality time and try to enjoy. If you want to enjoy the meditation, you should be having conviction. You should have that nischayatmaka buddhi. Then only it is possible. Otherwise, it becomes a farce. So, all these aspects are covered in a sloka here. Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi stitaha ekaki yata chitta atma nirasi parigraha. Yogi rahasi stitaha ekaki yata chitta atma nirasihi aparigraha cha san satatam atmanam yunjita. So, Dhyana Yogi sits in a secluded place alone, and then he will have restraint of the mind and sense organs, and he keeps everything outside things outside, and then he will meditate. Yogi Satatam Yunjita. Yogi Satatam Yunjita means when will he do the meditation? Once in a year or once in a month or once in a week? No. Every day he has to do, just as you do your walking, your exercises, asanas, Surya Namaskaras. So like that, daily you have to do the meditation. So it is not, occasionally or, irregularly you have to do the meditation. May your meditation be a daily course. Atmanam. Atmanam means here not the Sachidananda Paramatma. Atmanam means mind. So you have to keep your mind focused. Focused on what? On the Ishvara. Rahasistitaha. Rahasistitaha means sitting in a solitary confinement, sitting in a solitary place where people are not, moving and a lot of traffic is there. You have to choose a place where there is no people's movement. Place is secluded. Secluded means without disturbances. Such a place is called Ekanta Pradesam. Ekanta Pradesam means where people do not frequent. Ekaki, where people do not frequent, where people do not disturb you. Ekaki. Ekaki means you have to do the meditation alone, not in group. We have already discussed this. If you do it in a group, it ends up with gossip rather than meditation. Then Desam. Desam is a secluded place where it is free from all kinds of sounds, and a place where it is serene and gives you that ambience of spirituality. So choose that place. Kalam. Kalam means time. When you have to do. Satvika kale yunjita. Satvika kale yunjita means whenever your mind is stable, it is not wavering, you choose that time. Preferably in the early hour. If it is not possible, you can choose whatever the time you want. Yata chittatma. Yata chittatma means the Atma is the body. Chitta means mind. The body, mind, sense complex. Yata. Yata means you should restrain. You should not allow the body, mind, sense complex to run around the world and go around the fancies. Nirasihi. Nirasihi means without any fancies, without any kind of desires. That too, the binding desires. Unbinding desires he may have. He can have a desire which is useful to, which is beneficial to people at large, which is not binding, which is dharmic. Aparigraha. Parigraha means acquiring possessions. Aparigraha means not having craving, not craving for possessions. So some people are after possessions, even though they are verging towards the death, they still want to mop up property. So that becomes a kind of vyasana. Aparigraha. Aparigraha means not having too much obsessed with possessions. This is about this. The 11th sloka. Suchau deshe pratishtapya sthirapasanamaatmanah natyuchritam nati nicham chailajina kusottaram. Suchau deshe na ati uchritam na ati nicham chaila ajana kusottaram atmanaha sthiram asanam pratishtapya tatra asane upavishya. So, you have to choose the asana in such a way that you do not change your asana, stiram asanam. You have to change your posture in the meditation. Sukhamasanam, sthiramasanam. So, Suchau deshe pratishtapya. So, how would be your desham? Desham means the place of meditation. The place of meditation must be Suchau. Suchau deshe. Suchau deshe means it must be pure. It must give that spiritual ambience. You should not sit in a garage and then meditate, because all the things around you are not they are not promoting your spirituality. If you open your eyes, all wrenches and all this garage material will be visible to you. You don't get that. You don't get the idea of meditation. You meditate on those things only. So, Suchau deshe, in a puja room or in a place where you can get this serene ideas. So choose such a place and meditate. Then asanam. Asanam is the place where you have to sit. Chailajana kusottaram. Here, Paramatma is saying a 3-layered asanam. That is a kind of a mat on which you have to sit when you are sitting on the floor. The mat or the seat where you are sitting is having 3 layers. The first layer is darbhasanam. Darbhasanam means it is made up of grass. So it will have the sharp edges. On that you keep the skin of a deer, and then on that keep a soft cloth, and then sit on that. So this seat must be na ati uchritam, na ati nicham. It should not be too high nor too low. If it is too high, if you doze off, you may fall and you may hurt yourself. If it is too low, then all the ants and everything will, they creep onto your body and they may cause disturbance. So, it should not be too high nor too low. It should be, the height should be sufficient enough to allow you to do the meditation without any disturbance. Atmanaha. Atmanaha means not Sachidananda Paramatma, because Atma do not require any asanam or any meditation. Atma is Sarva Vyapakam. So here Atmanaha means Atmanaha means whoever is having the seat, so that seat is for themselves. So this is the Shastra Vidhi. Stiram pratistapya. So it should not be tilting, it should not be moving. Some asanas are not having proper balance. If you are sitting on a wooden plank, sometimes if it is not stable, then you keep on rocking instead of meditating. So you should see that stiram pratistapya. Stiram pratistapya means you should see that your asanam is not tilting or it is not moving, it is stable, and it allows you to do smooth meditation. So this is about the few aspects of the meditation. More we will learn in the next class. 10 to 15 slokas, sloka number 10th onwards up to 15th, Paramatma dedicated these slokas to the posture and to the process of meditation. So we will learn that in the next class. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.